Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
A UN representative reveals her initial findings in a study on violence against women in the Bahamas.
Well, it's one mother's remarkable story on saving her only son's life.
Our news is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Topping news tonight: after serving as president of the Court of Appeal for just over 7 years, members of the judiciary and legal profession at large bid farewell to Dame Anita Allen. The special retirement sitting in the Court of Appeal brought attorneys and jurists together to remember a giant in the legal profession. Jared Higgs reports.
It was a packed courtroom as members of the judiciary came together to see off President of the Court of Appeal, Dame Anita Allen. Dame Anita was appointed to the Supreme Court in the mid-1990s before becoming a senior justice in 2005. 5 years later, she succeeded Dame Joan Sawyer as president of the highest court on Bahamian soil. Chief Justice Hartman Longley says they've known each other a long time.
I have known Anita personally for over 40 years. And we became close friends when she joined the Supreme Court bench in 1996, where I was already serving as a puisne judge.
Among the other speakers bidding farewell were Wayne Monroe, QC, who spoke on behalf of the bar, and Dame Anita's son, Attorney Algernon Allen Jr., who offered a tribute on behalf of the family. Former Attorney General Alison Maynard Gibson and Minister of State for Legal Affairs Ellsworth Johnson also offered parting words.
For decades, you have managed the processes in your court so that matters are disposed of as swiftly as possible, balancing the interests of all stakeholders, whether or not the ideal amount of resources had been made available to you. The Privy Council has on numerous occasions upheld your judgments, many of them landmark, and frequently in doing so, they specifically mentioned with approval your name. Because of the body of law that you leave behind, your name will forever be significant in Bahamian legal history.
Your gracious approach to your judicial colleagues, to practitioners, and those who had cause to appear before you, and your contributions to the community have been noted and appreciated by all. So it is a great privilege for me this morning, on behalf of the Attorney General, to convey the deep appreciation of the government and people of the Bahamas.
For her part, Dame Anita says she won't use her parting words to lecture the country on legal matters. Instead, she remembers the strength of the country's judiciary.
All I wish to do today is to pay tribute to the judiciary and to say that we are most fortunate to have in the Bahamas a judiciary which is independent and impartial, and one which commands the respect and confidence of the community.
Dame Anita also served as acting Chief Justice in 2007. It is unclear who will replace her as President of the Court of Appeal. Reporting for our news, I'm Jared Higgs.
Police rushed to a scene on Florida Court off Balfour Avenue last night where another child's life was cut short in a traffic accident in less than a week. Giorgio Bain has the details.
The year 2017 has seen a record number of traffic fatalities, the latest victim, an 8-year-old boy, losing his life on Balfour Avenue.
A chalk outline shows where the child's body lay before it was removed from the scene. Investigators examined the scene as they tried to piece together exactly what went wrong, resulting in the loss of another young life. Police press liaison officer Shanta Knowles gave brief details on the scene.
Shortly after 6 p.m., we received a call that an accident had occurred at Florida Court off Balfour Avenue. We are presently on the scene and investigating an incident. Our information thus far tells us that shortly after 6 p.m., a tow truck was traveling south on Florida Court when a young child attempted to jump onto the truck.
Once the child was on the tow truck, that's when the daring stunt took a turn for the worse.
We believe that the child is between 8 and 10 years old.
Resident of the area?
A resident of the area, a male child.
What about the record driver?
The record driver remained on scene and he is assisting with this investigation.
Now that students have sat their end-of-year exams and are enjoying their Christmas break, Police are sending a stern message to parents to keep their children safe and indoors.
We are, like I say, in the very early stages of this investigations. However, we are appealing to parents and guardians. We know that schools are out or about to close for the Christmas holidays, and we are asking parents to pay attention to their children, ensure that they are secured and not playing in the streets, and that they have constructive activities during the Christmas holidays.
51 people have died on the streets of the Bahamas in traffic accidents this year, surpassing last year's traffic fatality count of 50. Reporting for R News, I'm Georgia Bain.
A United Nations Special Rapporteur releasing the initial findings from her 5-day mission that focused on violence against women. She said some of the most critical matters that need immediate attention include marital rape, gender equality, and the underreporting of violence against women in the Bahamas. Jasmine Brown reports.
During that extensive press conference this morning, Simonovic revealed that there are a number of areas and issues that need to be addressed. Simonovic has been in the Bahamas since December 11th. During her 5-day visit, the UN rep met with members of the government, civic groups, and law enforcement agencies. Based on her time here, she says the most pressing of all matters is the controversial issue of marital rape.
I would focus on this marital rape, you see, because it is like a sign that something is deeply wrong. It should be changed.
The last Ingram administration tabled proposed legislation in the House of Assembly that would have made marital rape a crime. However, following significant backlash over the bill, the legislation was never debated or passed. Then there is the issue of gender equality. Simonovic suggested there be legislative changes to address the issue, as she expressed surprise at the failure of the gender equality referendum in 2016.
I think that this legal framework and those reservations that are still there should be really urgently addressed. And I was surprised that referendum was not producing such results, and I have heard that maybe it was too complicated and everything else. So maybe another type of approach is needed to send this message that there should be equality between women and men. Because when I am seeing women at high-level positions in society, I'm seeing that there is recognition of the role of women here.
She also pointed to the disparity of women in leadership, highlighting the fact that there is only 1 woman in cabinet and 5 women elected as members of parliament. As it relates to the reporting of violence and rape, the UN official admitted it was lacking, as she says she was unable to receive that data from officials.
Rape cases are underreported, and when they are reported, they are under-prosecuted, and at the end, when you look at the sentences, there are only few sentences. So it would be important to see the whole line at the end each year, how many sentences are there.
But it was not all bad. As Simonovic said, there were some positives. Once she leaves the Bahamas, Simonovic will compile her report and present it at the United Nations Human Rights Council meeting in Geneva, Switzerland next June. Reporting for R News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
It's one woman's incredible story on how she put her son through 2 transformative surgeries just 4 months after having him. But sadly, it's cost her entire life savings. She decided to share her story with us today. April Sands reports.
Oh, a lot of people don't know.
Meet Janique Holness, a wife, mother, and businesswoman. The past few months have been extremely rough on Holness and her husband of 3 years, who've endured the struggles of caring for a baby born with a birth defect called craniosynostosis. Their firstborn, Tatum Hall, who will turn 2 in just a few weeks, has already had surgeries.
He was 6 pounds, 11 ounces when I had him.
The semi-rare birth defect is a condition where one or more of the fibrous sutures in a baby's skull prematurely fuses and turn into bone. That changes the growth pattern of the skull. Janique explained if nothing is done, then it can stop the brain from growing. But just how did she know something was wrong? She explained everything was normal for baby Tatum when she had him.
When he was in the NICU, before the surgery, I noticed that he was in there for a couple of days. So I was watching him and observing him. So I noticed that one side of his head was larger than the next. So I was a little concerned, so I asked one of the doctors. I said that I noticed that one of his hair is larger than the other side. I'm concerned about that. So she's like, oh, that's nothing. You know, babies, when they come to the birth canal, plates overlap. You'll go out of it.
Jonique says one of her only fears is that he will grow up getting teased from kids at school.
I used to ask, when I first heard about the situation with him and what the doctors told me, the first thing I did, I asked God why. Oh Lord, why? Why us? But I heard a voice said, why not us?
Now Jonique says following the life-saving surgeries, she and her husband are way in over their heads with a medical bill of $100,000. She's hoping for a Christmas miracle this holiday season and is pleading with the public for help to pay off the enormous bill. The new mother is also trying to spread a little bit of hope to others who may have a similar situation. Oh, and as for Tatum, he's doing just fine. She says he's learning to count now, something he laughed about in front of our cameras when we asked him to do it. Well, Jonique tells us that baby Tatum has gone through 2 successful surgeries for his condition, and he's in full recovery mode. But for those of you who are still interested in helping, the number is 425-1786. Again, the number is 425-1786. And you can reach out to Jonique. But until then, reporting for our news, I'm April Sands.
3 R&B legends are set to put on the performance of a lifetime tomorrow night at Bahamar's Convention Center. K-Ci and JoJo ruled the 90s creating music to last a lifetime, and now they're set to give all their fans who may have missed them another treat. It is real, and it's happening for one night only. The duo that ruled R&B music in the 90s, K-Ci and JoJo, will have fans going crazy at Bahamar.
But we're just so happy to be here and spreading our love and our music, and just thank everybody out there. JoJo don't like calling fans. He hate that word. We call y'all friends. You know what I'm saying? And thanks for all our friends for supporting us for almost 30 years now. You know, God is good, always great. So we just here to put on a nice concert for y'all and do what we do best, and that's to perform.
During a press conference today, the brothers, who are no strangers to the Bahamas, said they love the place. But what they love even more is putting on one hell of a show for their loyal fans.
You can never, we can't predict.
Because we don't rehearse.
Exactly. The only prediction that I can make is you don't want to miss.
Yeah, exactly. Never know what's going to happen, man.
That's a side prediction. You don't want to miss it because I'm ready to do it.
Okay? That's right. Ooh, yeah.
Tickets are $175 for general admission. Doors open at 7 and the show starts at 9 p.m. sharp. But it won't just be K-Ci and JoJo. They'll be joined by none other than Mr. Keith Sweat himself. The concert is being put on by Fresh Entertainment in partnership with Titan Hospitality.
Some of us were created on this music, so to speak.
This is only the beginning. We will start. Next year is going to be even more exceptional for us.
This will be the first concert held at Bahamar's Convention Center. Bahamian singer Anwar said he's happy to be a part of the show.
I've worked with Crispin and Fresh Live last year with the Jack Cure, and we're like family. Also, I was discovered by H-Town when I was like 12.
So what can concert goers expect from K-Ci and JoJo tomorrow?
A little bit of love, just a little bit of my God love.
Still to come on our news, how a groundbreaking surgical procedure is changing lives. The details are after this break.